How can I convince my sister, who is 31 years old and female, that I do not want to marry her fiancé, who is 30 years old and male? I appreciate that the title is a little strange. I'll make every effort to be as succinct as possible with all of the background information. The fact that I, 24M, have a sister, 31F, does not mean that we are close to of our age gap. We were born and reared in the United States, but my sister moved to Europe after graduating from high school. I haven't seen her much since she was 18, and I was 11, but we were okay with the occasional text message and every other year Christmas visit since we didn't live close enough to see one another. There are two pieces of background information that are crucial to understanding this story. Despite our age gap, we are very similar in appearance for a number of reasons. On the rare instances that she has returned home since I was older, many have speculated that we may be twins, 16 and 23. The second thing to mention is that I am a full hetero. I've only ever been in relationships with women and have never been interested in or experimented with males. Since I was 21 years old, I've been in a relationship with the same lady. So let's go back to the main storyline, shall we? My sister met her fiancé, whom I'll refer to as Rob, around a year ago, and they have been together ever since. Rob and I met for the first time this Christmas season. Given that we had a same passion, we were immediate friends, RuneScape, LOL. We had a lot of conversations when he was here, and we were usually drinking since it was Christmas. He looked to be rather tactile, touching my arm/back, a lot of giggling and a few of oddly timed hugs, which I found intriguing. I didn't think much of it at the time. Maybe that's just how Europeans are. I've never been there. As a result, they returned to Europe soon after the New Year's holiday, and Rob and I have been communicating through WhatsApp, mostly about video games. Then, all of a sudden, he stopped answering to my messages and phone calls. A few days later, I called my sister to see whether he was all right. She responded affirmatively, but she requested a private conversation with me first. We made plans to FaceTime each other the next night. So, to make a long story short, this is what my sister told me. Rob felt I was a really good-looking guy. He allegedly found me attractive since he is attracted to my sister. We have a lot in common in appearance, but he is now questioning his emotions for me. So I was like, was I some kind of stepping stone or something? Although my sister expressed hope that they would be able to resolve their differences. She asked that I stay away from Rob. I figured I'd never seen them before and that everything was weird, so I gave my approval. She also asked me to promise her that I would never, ever rob her or anybody else. Because not only am I straight, but the implication is that I would serve as my younger sister's fiancé unless directed otherwise. This is absurdity. I told her that she was being dumb and that I would never do anything like that in my whole life. The reason we got into it was because I wouldn't clearly guarantee that I wouldn't pay him. Because it should have been his obligation to leave me alone. I questioned why he wasn't being held accountable. Obviously, he's the one who wants to, and I have absolutely no feelings for him. The fact that I would not be invited to her wedding was revealed to me. If she wasn't persuaded that Rob wouldn't cheat on her with her own brother, I told her that Rob would most likely cheat on her with someone in Europe. She hung up on me when I informed her of this. It's been almost a week after this incident happened, and I'm at a loss on what to do next. We haven't talked to one another since then. My sister and I haven't told my parents about our plans yet, but once the wedding invitations are sent out, things will become heated quickly. What should I do in this situation? Is it necessary for me to apologize and promise not to bother Rob in order to put things right? To be clear, I do not believe there is anything wrong with being or doing anything. Neither of these statements is made from the perspective of someone who is furious at having been accused of not being straight or anything like. Edit. I'm going to speak about it with my parents tonight, in part because I'm worried that my sister may try to frame the situation differently. The message Rob sent me after I posted this article will be shown to them, as will this blog post as well. In a few days, I'll offer an update on the situation. Update. As a result of the essay receiving far more attention than I anticipated, the following has transpired in the last 2 days. In the course of our conversation, I got more upset with my sister for what seemed to be allegations on her behalf. In numerous comments, people advised getting ahead of this and talking to my parents as soon as possible, so that my sister doesn't get there before me and turn the story around on me. Her behavior during our conversation was so erratic that I couldn't rule out the possibility of it being a scam. My parents' house is just 20 minutes away, So that evening, I went to their house for supper in order to have the chat. I asked that everyone refrain from making any remarks or asking any questions until I had done speaking. I went through the essentials with you. Rob and I had been communicating, and when he stopped responding, I called my sister's phone number to find out what was going on. She burst into tears. I told them everything, even the fact that Rob was interested in me. According to sister, they were going to put everything back in their proper place. When I was informed that I couldn't talk to him, I felt outraged. I made it quite clear to my family as to why I was enraged. I was not invited to the wedding, and I was disappointed. Because I'm not perfect, I confessed to them what I said to my sister just before she hung up, which I afterwards regretted saying. When I was through speaking, my father broke out laughing, as he often does when he is uncomfortable with anything. My mom was completely taken aback. The fact that he was touchy-feely with me throughout the holidays was confirmed by both of them. We spoke about their questions for quite some time. Rob, did you mention anything to me before you called me on the phone? No. What if I hadn't realized Rob was bi/questioning all along? No. We had a long discussion about why I wasn't going to maintain my promise to her. And to my amazement, they were completely on my side throughout the conversation. This is the point at when everything starts to go wrong. As I said in my last piece, Rob had sent me a mail. He passionately apologized for causing all of this, for destroying my relationship with my sister, and so on and so forth. He admitted that he was bewildered, but that he loved my sister and wanted to continue the conversation. In my response, which came much later that night, just before heading to my parents' house, I said that things may not be able to recover from this, and that he should have either broken up with my sister in order to figure himself out, or kept his mouth shut. When my parents found out that I wouldn't be attending the wedding, they were upset. The fact that they phoned my sister quickly after I left their house was in violation of my request. They wanted to know whether she was all right, why she was being so accusatory toward me, and what was going on with the wedding planning process. The conclusion is that the event was a resounding success. According to my father, she erupted in rage, yelling and sobbing, and she accused them of siding with her husband and me. My father sought to explain that there are no sides in this situation. They only wanted to find a solution to the issue, a diatribe about how this is her life, and she would not allow us to ruin it ensued for less than 5 minutes, during which my sister went on the defensive. She said that she had seen my response to Rob, and that we were all striving to distance them from one another. She then refused to invite my parents to the wedding, despite the fact that they are paying for the entire event, and barred them from participating in any activities. We're all worried that she's going through a mental breakdown at the moment. It is impossible for us to reach her, and we have no relatives in Europe who can help us in this situation. We're at a loss for what we can do to help her. We are confident that the wedding will not take place at this time because my parents will not be able to afford it after everything that has happened. We are concerned that she may injure herself, but we know Rob is a kind person who will take care of her. I'm at a complete loss. My sister and I had never been close, but I had no idea her connection with everyone in our family would crumble in 72 hours. To be honest, I'm searching for guidance on where to proceed from here. Rob hasn't banned me on WhatsApp, but I'm not sure whether contacting him is a smart idea.